Welcome, everybody. We are here for the Student of the Month ceremony for May 23rd, 2024. I'm going to ask for Commissioner Campbell's assistance. And we are going to try to organize this so we pass out certificates and then have a photo shoot. of you, actually. Elena Canning, Browning Pierce Elementary. I'm going to give these actually to Commissioner Campbell for that. There you go. Jordan Perry, Children's Reading Center Charter School. Hillcrest Academy, Genesia Rivera. It wasn't out of order. Okay. One second, sorry, folks, my confusion. Now, these are the two folks that kids are down here.
I think she has two of them. She has two.
Are they stuck together?
Yeah, she has two. The first one.
Oh, okay, ta-da. 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 Sorry, folks. Liam Bates, James A. Long Elementary. No, they probably are different. Liam here. Okay. Logan Kraus, Kelly Smith Elementary. Jason Kagi, Mellon Learning Center Pre-K. Justin Winkles, Mellon Learning Center K through 12. John Eubanks, Mosley Elementary. Christopher Shockley, Palatka Junior Senior High. Welcome, go see Commissioner Campbell.
Thank you.
Allison Crouch, Peniel Baptist. And Mariah Charles, Putnam Academy of Arts and Sciences. Thank you, everybody. We're always honored to honor Students of the Month. They are our future and our hope for our city and our community. And also, I wish you all a happy summer. Now you're almost over for the summer. Yay! Teachers. And a special thanks to the teachers and parents. Obviously, they would not be here without all of your help. Okay. We're going to take photos? Yes, go, I'm sorry, go ahead, Justin. You want to say something? Ready? Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Palatka City Commission meeting, May 23rd, 2024. Invocation, we'll start first with the invocation by Pastor Mulberry and then the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Wall.
Let us pray. Father, again, we thank you for this day. Thank you for how good you have been. Thank you for how you brought us together once again. Lord, we thank you for all your many blessings, all of your many benefits. Thank you for how good you have been. We pray, God, you will bless us now as we come together to share the business of the city. God, remind us of who we are and whose we are. Remind us of civility as we come together. Help us to know, God, as a unit, as a people, that we can work better together. And we thank you for all that you will do for us. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ms. Krantz, please.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Tammy McCaskill.
Here.
Commissioner Justin Campbell.
Present.
Commissioner Will Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Rufus Borum.
Present.
Mayor Robbie Correa.
Present.
All members present and accounted for. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the May 9, 2024 minutes?
Motion to accept minutes is written.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. Going to move on to public recognition presentations. The first proclamation is for Hurricane Preparedness Month.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. And joining us today is Danny with the Putnam County Emergency Services. Now therefore, I, Roberta M. Correa, Mayor of the City of Palatka, together with the members of the Palatka City Commission, do hereby endorse and proclaim the month of May 2024 as Hurricane Preparedness Month in the City of Palatka. And we urge everyone in our community to act now and make ready their families and homes and stay safe and alert during hurricane season.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. Ms. Rich, would you like to come up and say anything?
Is it on this time?
Yes, the mic on.
So we talk about hurricane preparedness a lot, and a lot of the time I've done this before, I know, but every person I've ever talked to who's actually experienced it, and especially last year being deployed over to Dixie County, where they had never experienced something like this, it was kind of truth bringing, I guess. You really get to see exactly the extent of what is capable of these storms. And when people are unprepared, it makes it harder to bounce back, not only personally, but also as a community. The county's ready. We do as much as we can. We work with our jurisdictions. We work with the city of Palatka. We try to get as much as we can done as the government, but we still need to take into account personal responsibility and at least have your basic preparations. Have water, sports drinks. It does not have to be water. It can be your tap water. Just get some bottles, fill it up, get some hurricane snacks. Don't eat them before the hurricane gets here. Batteries, and just have a basic kit that you can keep around at all times. And make sure to check the weather and listen, see if anything's happening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, all set. Thank you. I didn't know what was going on here behind me. Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor, are we photographing?
Yeah, but I don't have a proclamation.
Oh, you gave it back to me. I'm sorry.
Miss Rich, we're going to end up taking a photo. She's still with us. She's not on, isn't she? Oh, there she is. Okay, cool. Yeah. You have a little sing along. No, it's not. It's not you. It's not you. It's us. No, I don't know where it is. Back up, we'll take some photos. We'll just all stand up here behind you and photo bomb, and then Peter can take a photo. Thank you. Thank you for your patience with us. Moving on to the presentation from the Northeast Florida League of Cities, donation to Putnam County School District for Project Praise. Commissioner Blunt.
Good evening, everybody. Well, I'm the president of the Northeast Florida League of Cities, and the Northeast Florida League of Cities. I didn't say Florida League of Cities, but Northeast Florida League of Cities. And every year we try to find a nonprofit organization to give funds to. We have a number of not organizations, but cities that participate within the Northeast Florida League of Cities. It's 9 counties, and we got about 25 cities who participate in this process. And what we do, we each city that is has a representative, and we have 9 people on our board. And as a board, we decided to select the Putnam County School District Project Praise this year for all of the things that they do in the community as it relates to helping to meet the needs of our students who are in many needs that they have as it relates to food insecurities, shelter, clothes, housing, all these different things. So basically, we have $500 to present to the Putnam County School District on behalf of the Northeast Florida League of Cities, and we're super proud of that. So the Northeast Florida League of Cities Board of Directors are pleased to enclose this $500 made out to the Putnam County School District Project Praise. This is a charitable donation for the organization's benefit and use. So I'll be presenting this to Mr. Nathan Eden on Monday or Tuesday when we return. So this is what we have, and this is what we try to continue to do, help our community move forward.
Thank you. In the spotlight, Employee of the Month, Ms. Jones.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, thank you so much for this opportunity once again. As we enter into our 3rd year of recognizing our employees here at the city for different characters that they possess during any given month, this 2024 is flying by, but we still want to take time to slow down and recognize these employees. We don't want to just bypass that. So we do take time out for that. And this month, we would like to recognize Mr. Jane Pierce with our water and sewer department.
All right. Like to say a few things. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Today, I have an honor of recognizing an outstanding member of our Water and Sewer Department. This individual exemplifies dedication, teamwork, and safety in every aspect of their work. James Bull Pearson shows up to work every day with a positive attitude and a readiness to tackle any challenges that come his way. His willingness to lend a hand, no matter the task, has not gone unnoticed, whether it's helping a colleague with a tricky repair or stepping up to cover a shift. He consistently demonstrates spirit and cooperation, and that support strengthens the entire department. Please join me in thanking James for the exceptional service and for being a true asset to our water and sewer team. You're the best, man.
You don't, no, you don't get to leave that easily.
Oh, not yet.
Right.
You could stand in, you could stand in front.
Us little people don't like City manager. On to city manager administrative reports, update on Hank Bryant Park.
Okay, update on the Hank Bryant Park. Currently, the bid has been put out. The invitation to bid is on 6/28. I think that updates you right to where we're at with it.
Any questions?
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Update St. John's Avenue Road resurfacing. Mr. Griffith.
Looking for Miss Gano. She said she wanted to give this report, but commissioners, we had a pre-pave meeting with P&S. That's the contractor that you awarded the contract for the resurfacing from 4th Street to the railroad tracks. It was a good meeting. They believe that the work, all in all, at least the majority of the work, the milling and the resurfacing, will take about 3 to 4 days. It is to occur at night from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And we are expecting a schedule from them. We're shooting for sometime after Blue Crab, most likely towards the end of June. But as soon as we have that schedule and we issue a notice to proceed, we will advise you, and we do plan on having a community engagement meeting with the downtown business owners.
Any questions?
Not on that project, but on the road project that's going on right now on 11th Street, will that be completed before Blue Crab start?
Which section are you talking about, sir?
Coming here, actually was on 11th between the Main Street and Reed. I don't know if they're going south or they're just gonna be working in that area. The road was closed earlier.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
in fact, I did send out a notice to the commission letting you know that that work will be completed today. That is work that's being done and as part of the warranty along 11th Street. It will not impact the Blue Crab Festival.
I just want public to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Okay. With that, we're going to open up the floor to public comments. Allegra Kitchens.
Hi there. Allegra Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. I just want to give you all a protest against the marked parking spaces reserved for the city commission. There's 4 spaces out of our parking lot. I did not notice that two of the signs had been moved further down where they weren't the last time. So I pulled in and I saw the sign, decided I better move in case I was gonna get arrested or towed. But my deal is this, and I don't care if you're a commissioner, I don't care if you're the president of the United States. If you can't get here on time, then do like the rest of us, walk from where you park. But we, the tax-paying and voting citizens of Palatka, I don't think the rest of the citizens are real happy with those reserved parking spaces. Most of y'all do get here on time, sometimes you don't. Big deal. I don't get here on time sometimes. I park at the school board parking lot and walk over. But I do protest the public parking lot for citizens being reserved for the Palatka City Commission. No offense to any of you. I think all of y'all are friends of mine, but I don't like it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Robeson? Okay. thank you.
Tell them that before it happened. Is she telling it?
Not appropriate. Anybody else here for public comment? On general items not listed in the agenda? Thank you. With that, we'll close public comment. And we'll move on to commissioner and staff response to anything.
Well, I'm just glad you brought it to our attention because I had no idea I had a parking space. I've been parking over there and walking. So I had no idea.
And I declined a reserved spot, so I don't have one.
Okay, thank you.
And anybody else, commissioners, staff comments?
Yeah, I'll comment on that. Over at the courthouse, when you go there, there are designated parking spaces for employees. So what's the difference, Allegra?
Let's not have a
It's
give and
not the
take.
s-
We can't do this. We need to- Yeah, you can finish your statement, but Allegra,
It,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
it is the purpose behind it so that you can have a park, because there are employees that come here before 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So they'll park here and it's guests. So, that's it. That's not go back and forth, but there's this, it's the same deal. The superintendent have a parking space. There's nothing said about that. That's a public school, public parking lot. So just because it's us.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that want to be, that somebody wants to pull? Commissioner Campbell? Commissioner Jones,
What?
do you want any items pulled from the consent agenda?
I didn't mean to answer your brother like that, but I don't need to pull anything.
We can make a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
So there is an issue on the last agenda item, J. There was a concern raised regarding a potential conflict of interest. So what I would suggest is
Pulling J.
pulling that, Commissioner Jones, I would recommend recusing and then vote on that with the remaining commissioners.
Okay, is somebody going to pull? I'll pull J.
Well, what's the conflict?
The conflict is that it inures to the voting conflicts, this is what it says. No county, municipal, or other local public officer shall vote in an official capacity upon any measure which would inure to his or her special private gain or loss, or which the officer knows would inure to the special private gain or loss of any principal by whom he is retained, of the parent organization, sibling, corporate principal, a relative, or a business associate. And it has come to our attention that there is a familial relationship between Commissioner Jones and the participants, the sponsors of this particular event. So to avoid any potential appearance of impropriety, it's my legal recommendation that you pull this item, recuse yourself from that particular vote, and the rest of you vote.
And
So we will pull J.
Excuse
Do
me.
we have a motion to approve the remaining?
Madam Mayor?
consent?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you wouldn't mind going into explaining what familiar relationships is.
Sure. It's the Florida statutes 112.3143 very broadly states relative, and that has been defined under case law to extend quite far to even cousins. So this is just acting in an abundance of caution to avoid an appearance of impropriety.
Motion to accept consent agenda items A through I.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. J.
I'll make a motion that we accept item J.
Second.
A motion and second, all in favor? Any opposition? Thank you.
And just go ahead and let the record reflect, Madam Clerk, that Commissioner Jones did not vote on that particular agenda item.
I can, before the record, he would need to fill out a Form 8B.
Yes, he's going to have to fill out a Form 8B. I'll meet with the Commissioner afterwards.
On to regular business. A7A, adopt resolution 2024 R114, authorizing the name of facilities at Booker Park. Ms. Krantz, is there any?
A resolution of the city of Palatka, Florida, and this is a typo. It should say naming certain facilities located at Booker Park, naming the complex as John Henry Pop Lloyd Sports Complex at Booker Park. The North Softball Field is John L. Williams North Softball Field. The South Softball Field is John Sessions Senior Softball Field, and the basketball court is Jarvis Eric Williams Senior Basketball Courts, providing effective date and providing for scrivener's errors.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith.
Commissioners, Mayor, just a little background on this. I think you're all aware there's a section of your code that gives guidance. It's section 70-105 on the renaming of city facilities, including parks. This is related to the Booker Park facility, of which we have had a significant investment in the last few years. These names have been proposed, and pursuant to your ordinance, we had a commissioner request that this be placed on the commission agenda for discussion and consideration. I do believe that we have someone in the audience that's willing to speak to the proposed names, but I'm also here to answer any questions if you have any.
Do you have any questions of Mr. Griffith? Bring the person up.
So do we have the motion before we do it? Or do we open it up for discussion, or this is how we do?
I think we can bring the person up first and let him tell us.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, Terrell Hill, 805 St. John's Avenue, Palatka, Florida. Today's a special day because it's the culmination of about a decade's labor of love. It's an opportunity for us to look at everything that we've done with the Booker Park project as it relates to funding and as it relates to design from inception to today when it's a reality. John Henry Pop Lloyd is one of the greatest baseball players of all time. You've heard us talk about that over history. 1977 inductee into Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame and a Negro League legend. Babe Ruth says he's the greatest baseball player he ever played against. But as we talk about recreation and where we want to go in this community with the violence and the things that are going on with our youth today, John L. Williams is another person who grew up right on the north side in public housing, who ascended to the highest ranks in his profession as a first-round draft choice and the number 15 pick in the NFL draft in 1986. Mr. Williams has been a part of this community, sponsoring many youth programs, school programs, and he's been an icon in this community. When you talk about Palatka, you have to talk about John L. and Jarvis. Jarvis Williams was a second-round draft choice. He grew up right on 7th Street, played with the Miami Dolphins, and he played with the New York Giants, but he coached here in Palatka. He sponsored a Pop Warner team. Him and John L. were the initial funders of Pop Warner here in Palatka. And Jarvis died doing what he loved to do, and that was coaching football. On the day he died, he just left practice before he passed, and he left us with so many memories. But Johnson Session is the foundation of all of that. Johnson Session started coaching during segregation. He was refereeing in Hastings and at Central Academy High School when recreation was separated. And in 1971, Bobby Wilson tells me that Johnson was coaching back then. Sweet Owens came in 1973, and Sweet confirmed that Johnson Session was the first Black coach to coach at Palatka Recreation. They worked together in tandem to bring this community together so that we're better as one. Johnson Session was also the first Black referee and umpire in Palatka's history. He played for the Simmons A's. He coached in baseball, football, and basketball. He was a champion in everything that he coached, and he taught young men how to be great citizens as well as great athletes. But he continued on and he umpired from the 60s during segregation until 2016. He was still umpiring recreation games in the city of Palatka. No one else who's ever coached or refereed in Palatka has ever been out there as long as Johnson Session. Johnson Session tore down barriers, he tore down walls, and he put his own money up to make sure that recreation is what it was today. So when we talk about Pop reaching back and getting Lefty Turner and taking him with into the Baltimore Elite Giants and the Pittsburgh Crawfords, we also have to talk about guys like Johnson Session and Johnny O. Williams and Jarvis Williams reaching back so that they can train guys like Willie Alford and Darcy Johnson and some of the other guys that came along the way. And they were right here in this community. And here's an opportunity for this commission to forever commemorate their existence. And so today we ask you that you go ahead and name the John Henry Pop Lloyd Sports Complex tonight, that you also name the John L. Williams Field, the Johnson Session Field, as well as the Jarvis Eric Williams basketball courts, so that when those kids that come along walk around and they have dreams, they can put their hands on something that's a reality for what they can do from the same streets that they walk every day. And so that's my request to you. And this is an opportunity for us to gain national acclaim, not just local acclaim, on something that really just gives the history of this community, and it shows just how important recreation and those activities are to us on a daily basis.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just thanks for all that clarity and all the history that you brought forth. Some of the stuff, I mean, I didn't even know about. So I thank you for bringing that forth, because again, some of that information we did not have. And so it's really enlightening.
And if I can, Commissioner, John L. Williams is in the audience tonight. And with everyone else as family members of John L. Williams, Jarvis Williams, and Johnson Session, will y'all all stand for them, as well as teammates.
You didn't have to say anything about John L.
There are other public comments, but if we want to make a motion first.
Second.
The motion is second, and Ms. Kitchens.
Allegra Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. Is not on?
You pull it down.
Oh. Allegra Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. I was already familiar with these fine men, knowing a little bit about their history, but after hearing former Mayor Hill give some more history, I'm even more impressed with them. I fully 150% support renaming these fields after these, the two Williamses, Johnson Session and Pop Lloyd Wright. I've been familiar with them my whole life, and I'm just really proud to see that we're going to honor them with our sports complex renaming. Thank you.
Thank you. Bobby.
And that's from Miss Allegra, y'all.
Yes, my name is Bobby Wilson. I live on 503 East Oak Street, 1971. When I met Johnson Session, I was on a softball field with my drill team. He was down with the football team, 25 and 30 kids. We had a softball field in Booker Park with croaker sack with sand in them for bases. Sweet Orange wouldn't give us the money because there's no money in the budget. Johnson said, Bob, he never called me Bob. He said, Bob said, we're gonna do something about this. Johnson went and bought bases for those fields, put the croaker sack and sands out of the way. We had 3 bats, 4 balls, no gloves. Johnson Session, the next he said, Bobby, I'm gonna be late for practice. The bats and stuff would be in the dugout. 10 bats, 20 balls, 15 gloves, shoes, and socks. An icon. Johnson went to school and made sure these kids had good grades. He talked to their parents. He would go fishing, have fish fries for the softball team, football team, baseball team, and basketball team. He started recreation as Northside Neighborhood Center where I worked for 20 years. he started the program for Little League basketball in that gym. At Booker Park, we had a gym called a barn. He started there with basketball, football, baseball, an icon in the community, a pillar in post. If anyone other than John and Jarvis, Mr. Sessions should be recognized for the work he did in the community. From 1971 until he could not do anything else, he still would come out to that ballpark, donate money, do what he can for those kids. A lot of young people in here came up on the Johnson station in his days and time. The man need to be recognized for what he done in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to B, proposed plan and direction, Jenkins Community Center, Community Affairs Department.
Just need to read some first. You think you need to read first, or do you want me to just go into it, Sonny? Do you need to read anything first?
I don't believe there's a
Okay,
resolution on this
okay.
item.
I just making sure, I'm just trying to follow protocol. Well, commissioners, mayor, city manager, I put a little something together to present y'all about what our direction we want to do at Jenkins, to kind of give some guidance from y'all to see how we can move forward. We want to kind of reach out to some organizations to kind of fill some of the spaces that we have in there. On this map right here, you can see the suggested uses that we have for the community center. If I guess once she finished. But before we get to that map, I did have some verbiage in here. I was not going to read it, but if you want me to kind of elaborate on some high points about some of our goals or what we want to do for the community center, I can. But we have had over the last couple of weeks have created a focus team to kind of bring some Afro-American culture stuff to the community center. We have went to a couple places in Gainesville. We got a slated to go some places in D-Land and also Palm Coast to visit some more African-American centers to kind of get some ideas, some kiosks and things that we want to put throughout the building to actually make sure we meet the spec for the grant and also meet the spec of the need of making sure the community of Palatka knows the history of Palatka. And some of those rooms you see as the multipurpose room with number 2, that'll be filled with a lot of stuff on the walls with kiosk codes. The senior activity room back there will have some similar. And then the hallway in the front, when you walk in, we have a trophy case that will try to house some of the Central Academy, also some of the belts. We got some things from the belt house that actually has some history and value to it. And any other things that we can find, yearbooks and stuff that we can find to kind of make sure the kids in that community center sees the history on a daily basis.
What house did you say, sir?
The Belton House.
Belton, oh, Belton.
Yeah, we got some music information, some music stuff from there that before they tore it down. And then, as you can see, we are offering the room number 8. It can be commissioner office driven, or we can use it for lease space to different organizations. The concession stand is just what I like to do to kind of get the gym space total. So people have concessions in the corner, they can actually come out and get their stuff and go back into the gym. The 4, can you go down a little bit, Sonny? No, not, just go down on the slide so I can see the top of the green here. There you go. 4 and 5, we want to utilize that for after school programs or any kind of day school that we can get to come in there and kind of use that and rent that space. And number 6 speaks for itself, is the gymnasium. So we're gonna run programs over there. So what I'm asking for you is just guidance to move forward with making these relationships with these community outreach programs and start allocating some of them rooms to some organizations. Right now, the building is not slated to be open to probably mid-August, if not September, for total occupancy. But once we can start generating those relationships and kind of create some contracts, so when we do open up, we can move people in.
So have you been in touch with any agencies like the Social Security Administration that moved away from here that we should try to at least get back into our county so that people will be able to go to get services there?
And-
Any of those kind of agencies?
In the beginning, we was reaching out to different agencies like that, but then when we was told to hold off, we stopped. But we want to get permission to start back reaching out to them and kind of see who could get engaged to come back into the building.
So
I think that's
That's
definitely an
important.
avenue you should
Okay.
pursue, so that, I mean, we're talking about helping people and having services back in the community.
Yes.
I think that is
Yeah.
a very important one. And some healthcare agencies,
Yeah.
I think, so that's just my opinion.
But that was some of the things we wanted this to be almost like a one-stop stop for the community over there, where they can come and get some of those programs and some of those help. So they won't have to go all the way downtown or wherever you have to go to get that service. So it'll be a walking distance for the community.
That's some
Go
key points, yeah. But certain communities are impacted a little bit more than others in a number of different ways. And so whatever services that we could put in there to help improve those areas, key things are healthcare, health, mental wellness. We already got the recreation. We got things for seniors, like Commissioner Jones was saying, the Social Security office. Just trying to think about all the different areas that impact communities that we can help improve on. And, health is one of the big things that we have, in mental wellness in that area, as well as social needs.
And those organizations that we start reaching out to, we still would go through the city manager to come go through y'all before we make any improvement or any kind of contract agreement. But I just want to have permission now to start moving forward to make these relationships.
I'm down for the moving forward with the relationships, but I'm a tad bit interested in knowing how the lease, or how would you go about marketing as far as the rate for the use of some of those rooms, or that's what I'm interested in knowing. How would you, is that something that's has already been established, or is it a case by case? Because I want it to be fair and concise across the board. And I think that's something that needs to be taken in consideration before any conversation is had with any organization, so that it's not an opportunity for it to appear as if an organization is getting differentiation from any other. So I would make the recommendation prior to engaging in conversations that some kind of price be implemented or provided, so that it leaves less room for any confusion or lack of transparency.
Yes, the city manager and the city attorney, I was going to get together and kind of come up with a fair market rent for the space size, so we can be kind of even keel across the board when we rent those rooms out, and kind of be in the same line with the different organizations around the surrounding counties.
And Mayor, I would make the recommendation that come before the commission before any conversations are had.
Okay.
Have a motion and a second on that particular item. All in favor? About having that, the price setting for the leases.
With some leeway, I would say, I'll say yes, but with some leeway where we're not stuck with whatever we approve. And I'll explain why, but I can go
No, I
based on
think
the condition.
it's coming to us as a recommendation
Right.
with it. Again, if we're looking to be a resource to the community, we want to make sure that they're provided with as much information prior to, not
Right.
saying that they will turn anything away, but if the prices come to us and we deem it not to be appropriate, or it may be too low, or it may be too expensive, I think that will provide us with the opportunity to have the necessary conversations, or provide a frame of where it can fall. So this is just a recommendation to come before the commission, nothing that would be set in stone at that present moment.
Yeah, I approve that. But yeah, so what we should not look for in terms of like price structures in a way that where if you could bring a organization in like the Social Security office, which we had before and lost, and it's hard to get them back. If you put sometime rate structures on those organizations that could be a service to the community that we so badly need. Those are the type things that we need to make those provisions for, to say, all right, well, how can we assist or aid this organization coming in to be able to help the community provide the services that we so dearly need. So we just need the flexibility in there to be able to accommodate for that.
Yes, and we would definitely take the need of the community in consideration when we're making any kind of pricing. But again, it will be a recommendation from us. And I forgot Ms. Carter will be on that little team too of making that decision. And then we'll bring it to the city manager, and then he can bring it to y'all, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, we did have a motion and second that we would like to see the rates that were established prior to, and we would like to approve them prior to them being in place. So do all in favor? The motion was made by Commissioner Campbell, excuse me, and second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to C, adopt resolution 2024 R122.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, presenting to the Commission a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Palatka authorizing the execution of an agreement with Underground Refuse Systems, Inc. for the use of space at the Public Works Facility, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for scrivener's errors.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Commission. So you have before you a proposal for a contract to an agreement to work with a vendor who's looking for space. There has been one update to the agreement that is before you, and that is that the vendor did confirm that he was able to assemble 2 additional trucks at the facility at the city of Kissimmee. So that would no longer be part of our agreement. And going forward, we would be asked to use space in order to assemble trucks at a rate of $10,000 per truck. Those trucks would be assembled by the third-party vendors traveling in to do the assembly. The request is for the space, which is based on what we have available to us at the current Public Works facility and at the new Public Works facility. The conversations have gone on with Public Works, and they have done a site visit. They feel that the space that we have available in both locations is appropriate for the level of work that they would like to conduct. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Commissioner Campbell, do you have any questions?
I do not, Mayor. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones?
If we are building a new public work facility because we didn't have the space for, that's what you guys told us, you wasn't here, but there wasn't any space or appropriate space for the mechanics to do the work that they needed to do on our trucks at the time. So my question is, how do we have this space miraculously now to do contract work? And did we get duped into purchasing another area out at the airport? Or where the space come from? That's my question. 'Cause that was
Sure.
the big push.
So Commissioner, as you're probably aware, I came out of Public Works myself, started at Miami-Dade Water and Sewer, and was responsible for Public Works services at the South Florida Water Management District. So when I had an opportunity to review the facilities that we have at Public Works currently, it did appear to me that the current facilities are antiquated. They've been there for several years. So with regard to the new space requirements that we have in order to provide services to the community going forward, these are less than ideal locations for, it is a less than ideal location for us to be able to provide adequate and efficient service for Public Works to the community. And I believe, at least that's what was explained to me, that was the reasoning behind, part of the reasoning behind identifying and selecting a new location. Again, as you said, I was not here when that took place. But based on my assessment and the years that I've worked in Public Works, I could see that distinction For this particular purpose, however, there is not a need for high tech. This is low tech. What they're looking for is space and the ability to have coverage. We have the high top facility coverage. There are spaces that we're currently using, and you can also speak with Public Works that's here now. But based on the space that we're currently using, we can relocate things that are in that space currently and utilize that space for the assembly of the trucks. So if a vendor if we do decide to assemble, take on assembly of the trucks, we have the flexibility to move things in and move things out in order to accommodate the assembly of those units.
And where will we be moving them? Like,
So
where did the space come from all of a sudden?
we have low-level space that doesn't require, that we're currently using high-level space. We're using for low-level objects, so we can move those into different spaces. We have storage spaces that are currently in storage equipment that is currently in high-level spaces. We can move that out and move those units in. So we have the flexibility to move what we have around with the space that we have available at the facility.
Commissioner Boren?
So the city has all of these locations? The city of Palatka got all of
At
these?
Public Works facility, yes.
What we currently have?
Yes.
At the Public Works?
Yes. Mhm. So I think that this represents an opportunity to generate revenue for the use of that space. And that revenue could be dedicated to various or earmarked for various usages throughout the city, whether it be for parks, whether it be for housing, affordable housing, but it is additional revenue that we can generate.
So they'll be assembling and moving things right in the current location
That's correct.
where Public Works is now.
That's correct.
So would that present any noise and how would that work in terms of, just from a zoning standpoint and the type of work that's going on?
That facility is currently zoned for that purpose. There are no new or additional noise requirements associated with that. It is the same typical type of activity that goes on when we're repairing trucks or repairing vehicles.
Commissioner McCaskill?
Okay, I asked that question as well, so I'm glad that you asked about the noise, that problem that it may pose. The assembly time frame for the trucks that it will take.
Yes.
And moving, again, using space, because we wrote down there together.
Yes.
And it looks as if all the space is taken. So you have taken that into consideration that you'll be rearranging things for our folks. And that's not gonna cause any issues.
That's correct. And Mr. Vecchio, we had that conversation to
And,
make
and
sure.
let me go ahead and ask another question while he's up here.
Okay.
So you said that parts will be coming in from where?
So they will be shipped in, some of the units will be shipped in from Italy.
And the parts come in that are not the right parts, they have issues, where we're gonna store those parts. What I'm concerned about is it becoming a savage yard. And I don't want that to happen. So I want to know about the time frame it will take to put these trucks together. I want you to explain to the community the type of trucks we're putting together, because they're not trucks that we can utilize. And you spoke about revenue. So you said that it went from the 2,000 per truck. We're not doing that. It's all
That's
of a
correct.
sudden, every truck that we assemble will get $10,000.
That's correct. And so the units that we're talking about are $3 million units. And they are designed to do underground refuge collection and dumping. And so they're unique trucks that allow that system to operate. So the idea that, well, let me first talk about the time span. It's 2 to 3 weeks. I'm sorry, 2 to 3 days up to 5 to 6 weeks. Okay. In order to assemble a unit. And that's 5 to 6 weeks would be on the long end, but it can be done in as short as 2 to 3 days. And so
those you mentioned about having parts that would be sitting around, it would not be refuge. These are high dollar, high value pieces of equipment. And this company is sophisticated enough that they've done this multiple times. And so the possibility is always there. You never know what's going to go wrong.
Not
It's all
saying that it's gonna be refuge, but if
Right.
it's parts that are not, that come
Right.
in and something's wrong with them, where are you gonna store those? And then
Correct.
waiting for the new ones to come in. And then you got to consider weather conditions and all of that. What if it goes outside of the 5 to 6 weeks? And then we got to remember, we're using the space, our space, making sure that we're not putting our folks in a disposition where they got to work around these folks, and then making sure it's heavily monitored and that they're getting this work done. Who's going to monitor that? Again, I'll be transparent with you. You got a lot of projects going on right now. This is another project, and this is something else you got to make sure you watch. And then we don't come back, get into this and come back having to do change orders, making sure that it could get done. I'm gonna be transparent again. If Kissimmee was doing this and they had 5 trucks that they were doing, at first they did 3 and they decided they couldn't do the other 2. All of a sudden they can. They wanted us to finish the project. Why? And we're putting trucks together that we're not using. All the municipalities across the state of Florida, how did they find us and decide that they wanted us to use our space to put their trucks together? Let's have a conversation.
So-
Be transparent.
So doing the investigation and speaking to the city of Kissimmee where the trucks are currently being assembled, they have never had a truck assembly that went over 4 weeks. Okay, never.
Okay.
All right, and the time that they've been doing that.
Okay, let's stop right there. They never had ones to go over 4 weeks, but they got into a 5-week, they agreed, they had 5 trucks to complete. They only did 3. But you did clarify that they didn't say 5 at first. They said
That's
they would
correct.
only do 3.
That's correct.
So the other 2, they were trying to find someone else to put them together, but
That's
finally
correct.
Kissimmee decided that they would go ahead and do it anyway.
Right.
For the 2,000.
The contract gives us the flexibility to be able to decide when we want to do an assembly or when we don't want to do an assembly. The same flexibility exists with the city of Kissimmee. City of Kissimmee decided that they did not, based on their time commitments, have the ability to do the additional 2 vehicles. And so subsequently, they've been able to rearrange their priorities so that they were able to be able to do those 2 additional trucks. So that's no longer a concern of the vendor. The vendor is seeking alternative locations to be able to do trucks at a rate of $10,000 per truck. And we can decide if we want to or if we don't want to allow for that assembly to take place. So I do want to give Mr. Recchio an opportunity to address the space limitations and our ability to be able to manage that.
And just to step while Joe is coming up, whose concept, who negotiated this and whose idea was this?
This was negotiated with me.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll let Mr. Vecchio close and then we'll ask them I have some questions as well.
So Max, how it come about? Has that been
That,
answered?
Do you want to?
she just asked,
I just
he
asked him.
negotiated it, he didn't answer.
But let me ask this because I want to make sure that when that question was asked about the negotiation, is that something that is something that falls up under his
Oh, I was
job?
just saying it wasn't.
No. I just want to make sure because we pointed that out, but I want to ask the reason. I'm a little concerned as to the reason why that was asked and then left alone. So I just want to make sure that if we're operating in complete transparency, that we eliminate any room for confusion when it comes down to not only us that sits on this dais, but anybody that may be listening in or sit amongst us. So I want us to, it was just asked and left alone, but I wanted to make sure that we expound if there needs to be a
I had
reason.
intended to. I have more
And-
questions. And also Commissioner
Thank you.
Jones had kind of asked or brought the topic up when we were saying the reason for the new Public Works site was because there was not enough space. And it implied that this was something Public Works was working on in light of the fact. So I
I
just
got
wanted to
that, but
clarify.
that still does not have anything to do with the question that was posed as who negotiated it.
Well,
But
it does, because the suggestion was that perhaps Public Works negotiated this even though they, yeah, so we'll let Mr. Vecchio speak first.
Sure.
And then I'll ask my
And I can do
additional questions that will tie in as well.
So I met with the people that came out on site and were trying to explain to me what exactly they were looking for and how much room they needed. I made it perfectly clear to them that anything we did could not interfere with our space, our mechanics in particular. They can't use it indoor, any of those type facilities. They were quite okay with under the pole barn, us moving one of our garbage trucks and utilizing one of those bays outside away from where all our active work takes place. And that's pretty much the scope of what they asked for as far as space is a bay and a half outside, not inside or anywhere near our working facilities.
You said a bay, because I thought you told me it would be two spaces you were asking for.
Yes, ma'am, that'd be two bays, bay and a half,
Bay.
outside, right next to each other at the end. That's about all we have, and we'd have to move what's existing in there to outside, which are not used at this time anyway, the two trucks. So that'd give a bay and a half for them to utilize that space. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I
And
do
so-
have concerns. One of the other main reasons for moving Public Works out to near the airport was the fact that it was in the middle of a residential neighborhood zoned R3. And now we're going to be adding, you at least told me that it wouldn't be a lot of truck traffic, but we're increasing the traffic and noise again when the intent was to reduce it and get out of there. And so that's one more factor that I have a concern about.
And just to address both that question and the previous question, so we would be able to do assembly in the new location as well as in the old location, the existing location. So I have seen the underground storage, underground refuge solution overall. The vendor has been at multiple ICMA conferences, and when the vendor was looking for additional places to assemble the two trucks that needed to be assembled in order to meet the requirements of that contract, he reached out to me and asked me if we had the space. My response was, I'm not sure exactly what your needs are. You need to come and do a visitation and assess for yourself whether or not what we have available is adequate. That's when the conversation took place with the Public Works folks. There was a realization that we did have the ability to provide the space as required, that there was clear in the contract that they would work around any of our priorities and our needs. And so that there wouldn't be a conflict, understanding that our needs were the priority. And so that's how this contract came into existence, and the agreement was negotiated to make sure that we covered all those spaces.
Commissioner Campbell?
Mayor, I'll say this in hopes of us pushing this along. If they're putting out trucks to that magnitude and they're willing to give us $10,000 off of a truck, they should have their own facility to build their own
Thank you.
stuff. So with that said, Mayor, if you're looking to entertain a motion, I have one to present.
Okay.
I
go
make a
ahead.
motion that we deny.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you.
Okay. That's
On to D, adopt resolution 2024 R95.
Nope, next one.
Thank you again. A resolution of the city of Palatka, Florida, authorizing a budget amendment allocating $64,772.54 in additional funds towards the reconstruction of St. John's Avenue from 19th Street to the CSX Rail Corridor and providing for scrivener's errors.
Thank you. Mr. Bell?
Sure. So this is an item that you have seen before. It's coming back before you in reference to providing the additional funds that were requested in order to complete this project. I think the clarity that's provided in the documents that you have in front of you shows that there was an item that was missed. And so based on the fact that that item was missed, the county is coming to us with a need in order to fulfill that gap. There was an effort put forth by DOT to provide half of the funds that are required. And in conjunction with the $50,000 that we have already provided, an additional $65,000, and I'm rounding the numbers, would provide the second half of the missing amount that's needed. So I believe there are representatives here, and since this project started before I was here, Mr. Griffith is also here to respond to any of the questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stout?
I'm here to answer, excuse me, here to answer any questions that you have.
Commissioner Campbell, any questions?
I have a comment, but I'll make it towards the end.
Okay, Commissioner Jones?
Yeah. I had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Stout on last week, and he clarified this matter as what Mr. Bell just alluded to. There was an issue where this money should have been paid upfront, and it hadn't been caught. But I'm glad that we stopped and we evaluated and we looked at where we were spending our money and what we're being asked. That's important, and I know it's important as for fiscal responsibility of this board. At this point, I don't have any concerns about paying that. But I am glad that this board was attentive enough to stop, look, and listen. And so after Mr. Campbell's comment, I would like to put a motion on the table to pass this, and let's finish these roads, get them done.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Borum, do you have any comments?
Well, my only comment is that, how, it got missed by DOT and then the county as it relates, and then it fell within the city, and the city had to pick up additional funds that we did not commit to. We committed to the contract. We didn't commit to the additional funds, but the $65,000 additional that we need to pay right now is not worth going back and forth with that. I think our community deserves better.
Yes.
We will, at least I know I will be pushing forward to make that happen. I hate to see the project not complete. It's super important, not only for me, but everybody who comes with visitors and residents as well. But again, going forward, any work that's done, when we get a contract, we're gonna stay with the contract. And because that means that, people can come in and say that they missed whatever. And if it's something that you've had a contract and your contract all of a sudden changed by whatever percentage, that could really impact, and that's not maybe within the city's budget. So we have to figure out where we're pulling the other funds from. But again, our citizens deserve that. So I'm good with moving forward with that.
Thank you. Commissioner McCaskill?
I don't need to add anything further. I'm in agreement with doing what we have a duty to do, and that's
Okay.
completing this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Campbell?
I just want to make a statement based on what I heard with regards to one of the commissioners referring to us working over here and with using the adjective dysfunctional. I want us to be mindful if there's ever an opportunity for us to work together, we have to be mindful of how we perceive how one is based on whatever reason we decide to do whatever it is on our side. But again, in order for us to work in harmony and work as a unified front, not only as a city, but as a county, we want to make sure that we don't build or label or give us invalid or incorrect adjectives, which could possibly prevent us from working together in harmony. That's my statement, and thank you. But I'm in favor of moving forward with this project.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion from Commissioner Jones. Do you have a second? Second. I have a second from Commissioner McCaskill. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stout.
Thank you, Mr. Stout. Do we want to take a recess right now, or do you want to just continue? Okay, because I was just told that was asked for a time. It's fine. Okay, on to public hearings. Ordinance 2024-05.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Presenting ordinance 2024-R05, an ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, revising chapter 2, division 4 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Palatka, Florida, entitled General Employees Retirement Plan, amending section 2-171 pension adjustments, creating a 4% one-time cost of living adjustment for all retirees effective on October 1, 2024, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority to codify, providing an effective date, and providing for scrivener's errors. And Madam Mayor, if I may, this is first reading.
Thank you, Ms. Khan.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor, Commissioners, all that are here. Our actuary Foster and Foster during the pension period that we were in back in March and April, we did request that an actuary study be completed because our retirees were having a lot of problems with the fact that their money decreased. And so I'm just going to read it real quickly. As requested by the board, an actuary impact statement outlined the impact of the city funding requirements to the general employees retirement plan. If they provide each current retiree and beneficiary receiving benefit payments with a one-time 4% increase in their benefits, and it would not increase each year going forward. So basically, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics stated that the CPI increased 22.8% over the last 5 years. When you compare February 2024 with February 2019. And so therefore it means that the cost of milk is 23% higher in a 5-year period. The last time that an increase was provided to our retirees was October 1st, 2004. That was 20 years ago. The increase in the CPI from in that same 20-year period is actually over 60%. So we're just letting you understand that currently what our contribution, our being the city of Palatka, our current contribution is, I believe, 30.7%. So for the new year that's coming, October 1st, 2024, our rate will be 29%. So even when we add this 0.04 that we're talking about, it is not going to be greater than where we are right now. And so we just want to take a moment and explain that. So just to read it verbatim from the actuary, it says, therefore, the city can provide this one-time increase to their retirees, and the funding requirements for next fiscal year, which is October 1st, 2024, will still be slightly less than what we're currently doing. Okay? All right, because next year we're supposed to be 29%. Right now we're at 30.7. So when we add the 0.4, it's just going to be 29.4, and that's still less than 30.7 where we are currently. Thank
Any
you.
questions of Ms. Cardi? No.
Okay.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Second.
There a motion and a second. I'm going to open the floor to public comment. Is anybody here for public comment on this particular item? Seeing no one close public comment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to B, adopt ordinance 2024-04. Section 70.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Presenting to you for second reading ordinance number 2024-04. An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, amending chapter 70, article 4, and appendix A of the municipal code of the city of Palatka, Florida, as it pertains to city docking facilities, providing for severability, providing an effective date, and providing for scrivener's errors.
Thank you. Mr. Griffith? Any questions for Mr. Griffith? It's second reading.
Yes, sir.
We're not giving the custodians that's down there at the River Center, not the River Center, what is it called?
The water taxi terminal?
Sole control over the entire dock. I had that question. I think I asked the attorney about it. The most northern part of the dock, almost where the amphitheater is. So if we had an opportunity where a vendor wanted to come in and provide watercraft rentals, something of that nature, would that be prohibited under this contract? Is it sole control with Legacy?
Commissioner, I was not prepared to address any questions regarding the Palatka Boathouse Marina agreement, but I do believe it does speak to their rights regarding exclusive water rentals. But again, if you
I kind of asked her that, and I think she backed out of it after the meeting. That's what I was told. So and I know you're not prepared right now, but that was kind of concerning to me. But I'm sorry to put you on the spot on about that, but I think I would like to have some clarity
You got that, Ms.
on
West?
that, Ms. West, Mr. Bell, because conversation had commenced about having opportunities for someone else come in. That's even if let's cat out of the bag. So I just wanted to make sure, and I want to know I think we should know about exclusive rights on that. Because someone else had a interest in doing something like that. That's why I asked that question. I wanted to ask it in the public meeting because I didn't know. I wanted to refer to the subject matter experts. I'm sorry about jumping off of the skip part.
You think I'd know it, like the back of my hand since we've been working on it 12 years.
Go-to guy,
Yeah.
go-to guy. So, but I'm sorry, I don't have any question about this.
No, I'm here to answer any questions about the proposed ordinance.
Anybody else have any questions of Mr. Griffith?
Well, I was of the belief that when we did that contract a while back, that they were supposed to be doing or had the opportunity to do watercraft sport, meaning that they could do rentals of jet skis and among other watercraft like kayaks and everything else. So if they had exclusive rights, then they control that piece of it because they said that they were interested in doing that as well, from what I understood from the original contract. So I thought that was part of the original contract. Has that been changed? Because I know it was completed like over a year ago.
So the questions related to the Palatka Boathouse Marina contract, I'm going to have to go back to the contract to make sure that I am accurately answering your questions, and I will report back to all of you.
Good. Could I ask this question, Ms. West? So this ordinance has been modified. Do that have any effect with the contract? Because I see day slips on both ends, and I know that they control the day slips down by the marina. But what about on this north end, closer to the bridge?
Okay, so as it relates to the PBM contract, I'm going to have to review that. Mr. Griffith, are you in a position to answer the question regarding the northern day slips that, and I think it would help, Madam Clerk, if you could pull up the graphic that's part of the agenda package, and commissioners, it is on the last page of your.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Okay.
While Ms. Krantz does that, I'll give you a brief overview of the park operating area. So their lease is for the building. Obviously, we have maintenance responsibilities for the entire building and for the restroom, the public restroom facility. But it is articulated in their agreement that they have some, what I like to term, a policing presence. So they're down there every day and they're monitoring the park, and specifically the park operating area. When it comes to the docks, there is one dock. Thank you, Ms. Krantz. Scroll down. It's the one labeled transient slips. Those are the ones where you could have long-term slip stays. Everything else that's highlighted there, either with a yellow line or a box at the northern end, those are day slips. And that was done intentionally because this is still a recreational facility where we have people that are out on the water on a daily basis. They want to be able to pull up to the park, come downtown, and we have people that want to use the pier for fishing and shrimping. The docks to the north, they get used quite often for special events, specifically fishing tournaments. So it was important that we retain the ability to still facilitate those types of events. Now, they still have a responsibility to oversee and monitor those docks to make sure that somebody's not staying there past the time limit, and make sure somebody's not vandalizing our property and report back to us.
Yeah.
And we do have a representative here from Palatka Boathouse Marina if you have any specific questions.
Ms. Lagasse?
I just asked it. So, yeah, I asked it. When you were here last, we asked the same question and you said yes, but since then, have plans changed about the watercraft rentals and
Marlene Lagasse, 125 Cypress Point Circle. I want to follow the protocol here. Okay. No, sir. We do have, in fact, we have 3 boats that we're currently looking to, 3 different size pontoon boats. We also have a kayak and paddleboard rentals. And then we were at Fernandina and they actually have water bicycles. So we're looking at those also if someone wants to get out there, just kind of tootle around the front of the riverfront. So we will have all of those in place. When Mark was here last, he couldn't be here tonight. He gave you kind of the timeline of what we were going to do with all of these things. You know, he's still in negotiations with some local people about the coffee shop and the ice cream. And he's also talking to people about the food truck. So we do plan on doing all of that. So yes, we will have watercraft rentals. As far as the day slip docks down there, one of the things that we're putting in place, if you're going to rent a transient slip, you're going to be doing that online. So you're going to put in all your boat information and it's going to show you what your charge is going to be. And that's how it's going to work. What we've talked to the city manager and Jonathan about is during those day slips, I think sometimes you guys have noticed there's boats that stay down there for a long, long time, less than desirable boats that are kind of making that their home. So what it's going to be on those day docks or floating docks down there, there's going to be a time frame and they're going to have to check in. So they're going to scan a code and they have to put their boat information in so that you're not ending up with someone coming and tying their boat up and walking away from it. And then you have to deal with it. There was a sailboat that I'm not sure how long it's been on the city dock, months and months and months. And then when you have to deal with that judicially, that costs the city a lot of time, energy, and money. So people will have to register so that they don't just come and park. Now, this weekend with Blue Crab, it's a huge time where people are going to come for the day. They'll come, they'll stay till night. So we plan on having the transient docks just open. We're going to open the gate because a lot of people aren't prepared to start paying for these slips because they've been free forever. So this weekend, we are going to have the water taxi running on Saturday. So it'll start at 11 and it'll run till probably 7 at night. And we'll go out about every 30 or 45 minutes. So we'll have rides. And then after, if the ordinance is passed, we'll be reaching out, we'll be getting a list from Mr. Cutright of everyone that's used that facility for the last however many years it's been in place. And we'll be notifying them that we're going to be handling the docks and that we'll be working with them. And there's always special events that there'll be exceptions for, because obviously the Wolfson's Children's Hospital, when you have 300 boats there in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, not many people want to rent a slip. Plus, they really need that to come and go and do all the things they need to do. So there will be special events where there'll be times that it will be open and we will not be charging because it's the benefit of the community. Okay. So any other questions that you might have?
Restrooms.
Okay. Well, the public restrooms, those are open from, I believe, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Yes. So those are open and the city maintains those and they actually deal with them. They clean them a couple of times a day. Anything else?
All the questions I had.
The one, the southernmost slip, that's the one that the public is able to use? The southernmost?
Are you talking about these yellow ones?
No, just the ramp. I'm sorry, the ramp, boat ramp.
So the ramp, those are open to the public anywhere that's yellow.
Okay.
Yeah, the public can pull up there and there's no charge for that.
Right.
It's just if they're going to be in those floating slips, you want to charge because there's water there, there's power there, and you don't want people coming up and just hooking up and helping themselves. Anything else?
Clean up along the zone that PBM will be exclusive area from the southernmost to the other north end. So who maintains that? in terms of upkeep.
Yeah, well, as far as like picking up trash and emptying trash cans and things like that, the city handles that, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
You can come up, Joe.
along the
That's
intercoastal.
us. That's our normal duties. We take care of the parks and the riverfront and everything. Our crews are on a standard daily rotation to clean that and then after hours. So that is our responsibility and we take it very seriously. So
It's our property when all is said
Right.
and done.
That's
so
correct.
We are the landlords.
we
and
mow, we
responsible.
clean, we take care of it.
It's our problem, but they got exclusive access to it.
Well,
Well,
There's a
I-
difference
I-
between
and
dumping
I-
in the
I can
water
tell
and-
you- Yeah, I can tell you, I pick up trash too. The mayor came down to see the ship store and I picked up a plate of spaghetti out of the parking lot that someone so kindly left for us there.
Cause I do know,
Mhm.
I wasn't here the last meeting, but I do know from the previous time we did discuss it. There were some issues relating to, cleaning the restrooms and having the restrooms in a way where the people can come in and pressure wash, the facilities.
Okay,
And-
so there's two different sets of restrooms. So when you walk in the main door, there's the public restrooms that are open 7 to 7. Okay. Once you walk into the door, immediately to the right, it's what's called the boaters lounge. So there are restrooms in there that are just for the boaters to use. That's rent a slip so they can take a shower
Right.
and things like that. We maintain that half. We do all the cleaning. We do all the cleaning on the ship store. And then the ship store, picks up right around in that area. So we work hand in hand with the city. We
Okay.
want it to look nice.
All right, we appreciate, I mean, I just know from
Yes, sir.
the last completed contract or whatever, I just wanted to be clear.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
Any other questions? Thank
No other
you.
questions?
Thank
Go
you
ahead,
so
Ms.
much.
West, did you
Yes,
say-
commissioners, I do have a little bit of guidance to respond to your questions. I still would have the caveat that I would like the opportunity to review the full agreement and get back to you in writing.
Okay.
However, I would like to just point out that the areas that are not included under the Palatka Boathouse Marina are the parking lot adjacent to Memorial Bridge, the boat slips by Memorial Bridge, so those
The north
northern
end.
slips in orange. Obviously the amphitheater, fountains, playground, and the parking lot. So that is not covered under the PBM contract. And again, I would like to follow up in writing
Yes.
with a more thorough review, but I'm trying to answer you on the fly.
Good job, appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, any further questions? With that said, I'm going to open up to public comment, limit to 3 minutes. Does anybody have public comment on this particular item? Seeing none, close public comment. Do you have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion, second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Jones. No, I did that.
I had enough comments.
Okay, Commissioner Campbell.
Mayor, I do have two things that I would like to bring before the commission very quickly. It's been a practice in our past that over the summer, we switched to a casual business attire. Is that something that we are taking in consideration for this upcoming summer? In addition, I would like to also ask if we would be able to go ahead and begin the planning of a proper naming ceremony for the fields that we just recently approved, as we did for the naming of the Mary Lawson Brown Marina. I think it's well deserving and should be put in that manner. So I would make that request that we move forward with the planning of that. That concludes my commissioner comments.
Thank you. Sounds like a plan. Commissioner Borum,
No further comments.
Commissioner McCaskill.
None, just,
Okay.
we agree that we're gonna do the summer attire. Y'all-
Oh, I mean,
I think we need to agree on that, but
well,
I don't think anybody has an issue with it.
it's
I just wanna
it's
make sure.
just
Thank you.
casual. I mean, we normally just be casual here.
Yeah, okay.
And generally, we tend to wear our commissioner shirt, so it's
Shirts
not, it's
and
just more of a business casual
khaki
versus the.
pants.
Don't come in shorts.
No,
We've
okay.
never done that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beach wear.
Yeah, thank you. And we do still have some workshops on tap that we haven't scheduled. We didn't schedule the goal, establishing goals for the city manager and a performance appraisal. We really need to get to that.
I do want to, Mayor, you brought that up. I did request the contract with regards to the contract of the city manager to make sure that we were not going against anything that was put into the contract. And it's my understanding, and I'm quickly speaking to it, and there is a part in there that speaks to his first, not the 180 days, but he would not have any type of evaluation. Could you speak?
January 2025.
Right.
Within the first 6.
No. I just want to make sure that as we move forth and we're looking at that we're not looking at a evaluation, but we're looking at performance-driven type stuff. So
Goal setting
So
for
he'll
the
know.
city and
Yes.
for the manager.
Objectives and goals. or
Well, I-
whatever
Right.
we're calling this.
Well, that's something that need to be set or have been set prior to now.
Yeah.
I'm saying, yeah, but it's gonna be by June. It's supposed to be by.
No.
I
The
agree.
goals and objectives.
Yes.
So if we haven't set them,
We haven't.
unfortunately, you can't hold him to anything
I
if we
agree,
haven't
but we
said
haven't
anything.
done that. That's why I'm
So-
saying we need a workshop to get, or we need to do that somehow soon.
Prior to January 2025. So are we going to set a workshop so that we can give him those now? We have not done it. What are we
Right,
gonna do?
that's what
Let's
I'm
get us a
saying.
workshop set.
I have sat with him. I mean, well, I've sat with him.
it's a
And we
It's a
had, I'm just saying,
collective
I'm just saying, I know it's collective, but I have sat with him and we have gone over a number of things I think we collectively need to put in front of him so that we can prioritize whatever those city priorities are and the goals and the mission. So that's certainly important. So, but I have met with him and we have discussed a few things as it relates. So we just have to reconcile what everybody else would like to have.
Right, so will they be separate goals?
No, oh, no, well, collectively, the city have priorities. Example would be what our priorities are for this current year. We had infrastructure, our water lines, we had recreation. We also had the curb line, the 90 miles of road, and we also had police cars. So all of those were our priorities for this fiscal year. And so we need to look at setting those for next fiscal year.
I think
And
that's
then any other things related, because once we approve these things, it's in his lap. The next thing we do, we need to finish up what we did as it relates to the strategy and the goals and missions of the commission. So that's what we all have to come collectively to do and bring those things forward.
Respectfully, I think there's a difference in what it is that that may be a fraction, but I don't think that's totally what that concept is. And I think in order for us to properly address it, that let's just go ahead and not engage in it tonight, but properly set up
Some dates for a workshop.
Oh, I'm not saying we're not gonna do it. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying that
some
you
of
are,
the
but I think
things that-
what you stated, that was not totally correct, but.
But anyway, let's just
What's
come
not
up with some
correct?
dates for the workshop with Sunny's assistance and we'll
I,
just.
I need clarity, because what was not correct?
I said part of it was not correct.
We're
What
not gonna
part?
debate it here, excuse me?
What
No,
the
well,
meeting-
well, we need to.
We're not gonna do this here.
Well,
We
the
can do it at the
meeting is
workshop.
not over and we were talking, so I think it's always good to get clarity.
yeah.
So I'm looking for clarity.
The driven and direction of the commission, what you stated, I didn't say was totally it was not correct. I say a portion of it. The meeting that we're to have with him is a little bit more in depth with regards to, we set the priorities for the city versus setting the priorities for the city manager. I think those two are different when it comes down to when we go to Tallahassee to fight for versus our expectations of him as our employee, as our city manager, what we want for him. I think, again, that's different than having the priorities as far as the police cars, the infrastructure, and those things of that nature. So that's what I was stating. I didn't state that it was totally incorrect, but I stated that the meeting that we're looking to have, that's not solely what we're looking to accomplish in that meeting. We're giving him direction from our perspective as his boss.
I think you misunderstood what I said.
And if I did, I apologize, but I wasn't the only one shaking my head during it.
Well, whoever was shaking their head, I think everybody might have misunderstood who shook their head.
Do you agree to workshop it?
Absolutely, I'm all for it. I'm not rejecting that, but what I am saying, I had moved forward with working with the city manager with the things in terms of his evaluation and a number of other things that we have not completed.
How can we
In
move
terms of,
forward with terms of an evaluation when he can't even have that conversation of evaluation until 2025? I mean, I would make the recommendation.
it said
that we-
up to, read the
Attorney-
contract, the
Attorney
contract
West.
say up to.
Attorney West, I would make that, could you please bring us back clarity with regards to the conversation that we are looking to workshop so that there is not any room for confusion or misinterpretation based on our personal opinion, but we want to make sure that we have a sound bite going in so that when we get into that workshop, that we're not having this conversation that we're having now.
Do we have some dates?
My key thing is, I know I was moving forward with what we need to do in terms, because the first thing we say when a city manager is not doing what he or she supposed to do as it relates to running the city operation. Example is, if a city manager is up for termination or whatever, then the first thing I've heard in the past is, let's do an evaluation. And I've heard that on a couple of other occasions. So again, if that is the case, then I can't tell you guys what to do, but I know what I was doing moving forward. And I have done evaluations before, 2 of them.
Sorry, we missing it. Thank you.
No, I'm just saying,
Madam
just
Mayor.
period. There's a number of things that need to be, there's a number of things that need to be dealt with in the city that we individually don't control other commissioners. And as commissioners, we need to make sure that things are done decent and order and proper. So again, that's what I was moving forward with, and I can't make you guys do anything.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Don't even.
I can just share what the contract says, but
Can we
go
please
ahead.
come
Drew.
up with some dates?
We asked the.
We asked for a
attorney to come up
contract.
with-
Do you have any dates, Sunny?
I'm sorry, I'm
Wait on the
looking to the
manager.
mayor. I hear one commissioner asking
I
for
didn't
dates and
say
one
anything. I
asking
didn't
for
say
a.
anything, but Commissioner McCaskill,
No,
I
my
think.
statement has already been made.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy to provide dates. What type of hours and timeframes are we looking for? Afternoon, morning?
I'll try to make myself available
Yes.
whenever.
Okay, starting with June 3rd, this city hall is available.
What's the next one after that?
June 5th,
Not available.
Okay.
June 6th in the morning. We do have a department head meeting, but I assume this would.
I'm out of town, at a,
Do you have June?
Florida League of
14th?
Cities.
Do you have June
conference.
14 available in the morning? That's a Friday.
June 14th in the morning, yes, ma'am.
Okay. If everybody's available June 14th.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Let's make it happen. I would like to also have our human resources in. They gotta have some kind of format. And they really should be leading this charge, to be honest with you. Excuse me. But I also agree with that.
So June
With
14th.
legalities,
I'll touch base with HR to make sure you have a.
with that contract and give us some guidance with this going forward.
Thank you. So we're looking at June 14th, I guess, in the morning or something.
One of, I look back at my calendar, June 5th is available. I won't be in town June 6th.
Okay, did we say June 14th? though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
well,
Let's
we'll-
stay with June 14th,
Let's,
please.
let's see what we
Madam Mayor,
got
can I get
here.
with
We mo- we
regarding
move
setting
it-
a call?
We move a date. I need to look at my calendar.
Thank you. Do we have anything else? Any other further comments?
He's looking at his calendar.
Okay.
You're moving fast, Mayor.
What can I say this?
Uh,
Well, the Blue Crab Festival is this weekend, and I hope that it.
I'm good on the 14th.
There's no hitches going on. I see Public Works and everybody doing a good job. And I just want to give everybody kudos and looking forward to a good time. And that's it. I want to say that on another note going forward.
Mr. Bell?
Yes, and you mentioned the Blue Crab. We have passes available. See me after the meeting and I can get those to you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Also, remember the high school, Palatka High graduation is the 31st.
We
And
should have passes for that, Sunny.
And we're gonna,
I was told that they'll be available next week.
Okay.
Can we make sure we get them or follow up on that? Because we've had some issues in the past with making sure that we were not provided the proper pass.
This is why I've been asking
I
2 weeks in
understand, but I
advance.
want to make sure.
anything else? Do we have a motion? to
Motion
adjourn?
to adjourn.